Hi, everybody. How are we doing today? I have been reorganizing the house today like it's spring. It is not spring. It's like in the 20s Fahrenheit out there. Uh, but it's so sunny and we have so much snow. It actually, it's bright and it feels like spring, at least here in the inside of the house. Hi, Graham. Hi, Stephen. Hi, Francis. So good to see all of you. Uh, and this all started because I was cleaning out some gardening stuff and just got on a roll and I cleaned out spices from my drawer because that led to dealing with the peppers that I had dried from last year. You know how one thing kind of leads to another? So I've got my shelves behind me, that big black shelving unit, cleaned off, ready to get lights put on it this weekend because I have one, and it's really hard doing this mirror thing behind me, but I have one shelf here that has lights and plants, and I'm out of room already. So I need to, so it was a good thing to get all those cleaned up and time to really move forward. Hi, Amelia and Leanne and Karen and Jean. Thank you so much for being here. So here we are already. Oh, hi, Graham. Good to see you, sir. Uh, I uh, Here we are, February 1. So we know this is kind of the month that things get going a little bit quicker, but not so quick that I'm trying very hard to keep the, the foot on the brake because now that I have started my onions so early. Um, Hi, Nicola. Rebecca, hi. Now, Willow Grove, I assume that's your handle of your growing area. Or is your name Willow? I don't know. Why don't you let me know that? Um, so getting rolling, but I also am trying to pump on the brake just a little bit because the onions that I started on Boxing Day to give that a try have now all been started. I have started repotting those into their own space, and space goes fast. So I realize I'm going to just pump the brake a little bit, try to be disciplined, and uh, yeah, not get too much going too soon. So cleaning was fabulous today. Went through some of the trays that I have and some of our little module pots and kind of just got everything spick and span for next year. Although I don't sterilize any of that stuff. Uh, oh, hi, Lindsay. Oh, well, that's kind of cool. Willow Grove is a beautiful name. Uh, I would think that would be a blog I would love to read. So, yeah, great name. Oh, hi, John. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. So, as I was saying, I kind of was cleaning everything out. But again, I don't sterilize any of my garden stuff more than my tools. I wash pretty thoroughly. Well, I shouldn't say wash, I clean them. Uh, but I know some people like sterilize all their potting mix or trays, and I don't do that. I think I more take on the Charles Dowding theory that it's sterile soil that's going in, so I don't really need to sterilize them again. Um, so I really don't, but I kind of try to make sure they're at least rinsed out, so I'm starting at least thinking I'm fresh. So isn't it fun though? I Today I could have cleaned, and my garden apprentice was here with me, and she's become such a oh my goodness, such a resource for me. So she can do what I can't, but I can uh, lead the charge, so to speak. So she doesn't have to think of it all. Um, but it was great. We went through our olive oils and vinegars, and like it was, and again, it all started with cleaning out my garden shelves and getting that organized. And that kind of just moved me right into spring cleaning. Hi, Roxanne. Good to see you. Hi, Joanne. I'm not sure if I said hello to you earlier. Um, yeah, there's something about, I mean, this day honestly is so bright and so beautiful out that I almost feel like I want to open all the windows up and get some of that beautiful fresh air. And no, it's still in the 20s. So here we are at our beautifully 769-ish degree home, uh, thinking of spring and getting my life a little bit under some organization. And what I did, particularly because I know the hot peppers are one of the first seeds that I'm going to grow next. Um, I have a lot of dried hot peppers, and I realize there's some of these I don't need to grow again for this next year. So that again, it's I'm feeling a lot of freedom this year to decide what I'm not growing, because then that gives me wide open room to grow something else. So I'm leaning a little heavy into pollinator happy and human happy flowers to grow. It's not that I'm not leaning heavy into the veg, but I'm going to lean a little heavier towards butterflies and bees and keep them happy while I'm enjoying their work in the garden. So it makes them happy and it makes me happy to bring in a bouquet, or to, if someone's over visiting, to say, hey, here's the clippers, help yourself. Go pick yourself a nice bouquet and thank you for coming over. So, yeah, I think there's been some chat, and I want to catch up with that. Uh, and if you have a question or even anything that you'd like me to notice, either type it in all caps or put a capital Q at the front, uh, just so I can see it and not miss what you have. Oh, and next week, because we look like we're forecast for some really cold overnights, I will be starting some winter sowing, which I'm very excited for, because January it was so up and down. I thought these things they're gonna pollinate, and then another freeze is gonna come, and they're not gonna do well. So now that I know we're going low for quite a while, it's time to do the winter sowing. Francis is saying we're getting winter's last blast for the next couple of weeks. It won't be gone. It won't be gone then, but it will be above zero, we hope. Well, that's all we can hope for, right? The beauty is days are longer, so we know it's coming. Um, and that always makes me thrilled. Oh, and speaking of, yeah, I don't start like okay, I read Fertilize, and I thought that was also one of the things that started the whole cleaning out stuff today, was all the fertilizers that I had here in the house, because I didn't have something watertight to put those in. So I have, various organic fertilizers that I use for various crops. And we did find a nice big tub to put them in. So until I get containers for them, so they're just super easy, we now have at least a way to keep them from water. Water is fertilizer's friend when you're using it. It is not its friend when you're not. Oh, hi, Fiona. Oh, so happy to have you. This is Fiona's first live she's caught due to work commitments. Well, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Let's see what Roxanne is saying here from Empty Nest Gardens. Bugs get into the tiny holes in bags. Oh, yes. After last winter's fungus gnats all through my house, I now boil water. Yep. And I think that your plants even like going into warmer soil. So I think that checks off two boxes because those fungus gnats, I have the yellow sticky sheets of death that I hang as needed. But so far, and I maybe shouldn't even say this, I have not had any fungus gnats, um, which that's kind of unusual for me because I have a whole lot of seed starting mix in this house. But so far so good. This is Nicola. I've not been planting seeds, but moving 3 to 4 ton of wood chips. Oh, make way for 6 cubic meters of mushroom compost. Think I'd rather be planting seeds. Well, isn't it? I find it so like it's a Zen thing for me to be able to plant some seeds. Even if I'm watching my garden apprentice do it, I'm like I'm just in a happy place and love it. Oh my goodness! Wow, we're about to get 30. Wow, wow. Now, what part of Canada are you in? Because you're quite far north, aren't you? You got to be for those temps. Wow, that is. I don't know how you prepare for that. That is really stinking cold. Uh, wow. Let's see what Fiona is saying. Sown my peppers a few days ago with a few new varieties. Awesome. I think peppers. Uh, for some reason, I think the climate I'm in just it's built for peppers. I always have a tremendous pepper harvest, and I don't know that I do anything all that special. I think I feed them with some Cal Mag and some pepper, organic pepper and tomato fertilizer to start, and I just I water them well, but I don't know that I do too much to them. Um, but yes, okay. Uh, Sharon's asking, can anyone recommend a good pair of secateurs, please? And I think we call in the States, I think we call those clippers, little hand held clippers. I find that I think it's Felco is the ones I have, and they seem indestructible to me. But if somebody in the UK has a suggestion, please, if you could just tell Sharon, that would be great. And I imagine Felco might be international. I'm really not sure, but I find they clean up beautifully, and I've had them for years. And when I switched from a right-handed person to a left-handed person, their left-handed ones were just phenomenal. So, uh, Francis is at what? Oh my, okay, 20 degrees. That's about where I am right now. I might be a little higher than that. Oh no, I'm at 31. Okay, so we're a little warmer even than I thought. Um, but cold enough that winter sowing can begin to happen. Uh, and I love winter sowing. If you guys have never done it, it is the coolest thing. You just plant, like particularly for flowers, because they can take up a tremendous amount of tray room in your on your stations. However, you start things indoors, and when you winter sow, they grow so beautifully, and there's no muss or fuss. You don't have to, make sure they're watered. You just let nature take its course, and it does. And as long as you open up those little mini greenhouses that you make with the jugs, you will be thrilled. And they're just happy. They're already hardened off. You don't have to do anything other than open the lids when this it starts to warm up, because I think they can become like ovens. And I did a few errors last year where a couple of ones I thought, well, is it maybe going to be a little cold? Open them up, and if you need to, close them back up at night, because they will fry like nothing. And even though they're no work, I mean, you have to plant them, you have to prepare them, you have to put seeds in them. So it's still an investment of time, and it's not a lot of money, but it is an investment of cash. So you just want to make sure that you don't cook things uh, before it's time, because that's really very easy to do. Okay, can't Francis has a question for anyone. I have 3 10-10 trays of pea shoot microgreens and have treated them all the same. However, one seems to be stunted. Hmm. See, if you're treating them all the same, I gotta go. Are the seeds all the same? Or yeah, I don't know, because I find pea microgreens crazy fast. So I'm sorry, I don't even have an idea. If they really are in the same growing medium and you've given them the same water and light, particularly if they're the same seed, out of the same seed packet, I would go, wow, I have no idea. Okay, this is Claire. This is a great distraction from trying to figure out tech. Yes, um, or taxes. I had to do some tax work for a nonprofit that I'm on the board with, and wow, I bless anyone who does that for a living. So same with tech. It's either working beautifully and you're happy, or you're pulling your hair out. I know. I was a what are they called now? I was a tech person before there were tech people. I just kind of fell into it in a job that I had, because I apparently had a bit of just a natural lean towards that. Um, yeah, so I was the computer guy before there was a computer guy. Glad I didn't realize that. I might not have been as excited, but it was fun. Leanne does the hot water too, but I also bought some nematodes for fungus gnats. Okay, I didn't think to use those on fungus gnats inside. That's kind of a cool. Uh, wow, I did not know that. Fiona says she got all her potatoes. Uh, that's great. My potatoes don't show up. They don't usually get mailed out until April because of the cold, and I think they don't like to send anything that could um, freeze. So I'm always late to get my potatoes in because they don't show up. Hi, Stephen. Stephen is also saying that Felco has several good ones. Yeah, those are my favorite by far. Oh, Claire, you're so nice. Don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you so much. This is the loveliest group of gardeners, I'm telling you. Just lovely. Because I'm telling you, I didn't want to stop uh, the organizing that I was doing. When you get on a roll, but then I thought, no, these are my buds. Yeah. So let's stop. Um, oh, you're north of Toronto. Okay. Yeah. So you're east and north of me. Okay. Spent many a lovely weekend in Toronto. We used to go there. But this was before children, so this was a minute ago. We used to go there the day after Christmas, so Boxing Day, and this was back when the dollar was really strong with Canadian money. And I don't know where we are in that now, but at that time, it was really strong. So my husband and I would go up there and we would just shop till we dropped. We made sure we stayed long enough so that what we brought was uh, not taxed differently. So yeah, many great memories when we were young and used to do that. We used to get some serious deals up there. Um, Steven's saying it's on my list this week or next to get my shed cleaned out and sort the gardening tools for spring. I think we've all got that itch right now. Um, and like I said, cleaning off these shelves behind me. I don't know if you're probably like me. I don't know. I get paralyzed when I know I need to do something, but the task seems so big and it's going to not be fun. And where am I going to put all that stuff? And I just don't want to move it to a different pile. This is all gardening stuff that was on there. So I want it to be accessible, usable. Well, we found places for everything. And it did not take nearly as long as I thought it would. So I was really glad I did it. And everything's now kind of more in the place it should be. And I'm ready to hang some lights up there for this weekend. So that's, yeah, sometimes I think, sometimes just getting into it and get it done is a little bit of a better approach. And I wish I could teach myself that at this age. But it's still there's that ramp you got to go up. Um, okay, Fiona is saying that she feeds her peppers comfrey tea. Well, I bought uh, a, is it a, oh, uh, I forget the kind of comfrey that I bought because I've heard so much about it from my UK gardening friends. And it's the one that uh, doesn't take over. So it's more of a sterile comfrey, I guess. There is a name for it. It has lost me. Um, because I've just heard so much about it. And I was just going to chop and drop it rather than, because everyone always says when they make that tea, although it's incredibly good for your plants, that it smells from here to, like the odor is stifling. And I'm in my backyard. So I would really not like to have a pot of something brewing out there that my neighbors are possibly going to be offended at. So I thought I would just chop and drop comfrey all over the garden and let it just kind of mulch in place. Um, okay, we have Felcos and what's the other one? Fiskars. I I love Fiskars. I love the Felcos clippers, but I have a lot of Fiskars because I used to sew a lot, and some of their cutting things were just remarkable. And so when I saw things for the garden, I thought, yeah, they know how to make a blade. So yeah, I would say Felcos for sure for longevity, but Fiskars, I have like nippers, little nippers, just for when I'm pruning things. They're so easy to use and they're easy on the hand. They're very, very comfortable. I'm going to be winter sowing flowers, lots of perennials soon, but I'm going to be putting flats of pots inside a cold frame. I'll have a Wi-Fi connected thermometer inside the cold frame. Beautiful. I do have one of those Wi-Fi thermometers, and I put it. I don't have a cold frame, although I think if I ask nicely, my husband would be happy to build me one. Um, but I do have one of those green zippy temporary greenhouse things, which I always keep the thermometer in there. So at least I kind of know good or bad. I'm amazed at how much warmer it is inside of one of those because they're not perfectly sealed. They're, it's a plastic thing around a wire, a very flimsy tubes, but they work great. And I can't wait to get my onions out there because they're growing big enough that I hope by maybe end of March, mid March, I can get them out there and they can just live um, in there because I'm going to need the space. Because you know how March gets. There's a lot of sowing to do in March. So let's see what else we've got here. I'm getting behind a little bit on what everybody's saying. Uh, I love that you all talk to each other. That's awesome. Claire has a question. Do you think it matters if your seed potatoes are small? I don't think so. I have seen. Okay, who is it? It's Digwell Greenfingers. Uh, I think that's Steve. Forgive me if that's not Steve. Uh, and he cuts one potato into like microscopic pieces, and they all grow beautifully. So, and I have grown some very small potatoes, like I should say seed potatoes, but they've turned into big potatoes. So I think it's more the variety of the small potato than the fact that it's small. So I would say, yeah, I would totally give it a shot. I even sometimes, I sometimes like even go to, I just buy organic potatoes from the store, and they sometimes are like little baby potatoes, and they come out like full size potatoes. So I guess it's when you harvest a little bit. So uh, yeah, I would sure try it. I never realized how close Detroit is to the border. Oh, yeah, downtown Detroit and Windsor are connected. Like there's just the Detroit River between them. I mean, we are so close. And this is the only place where I live that Canada is south of us. You know how it's just all that weird. I guess when you live in a state that's shaped like a mitten, all kinds of things can happen. But yeah, Windsor, yeah, I know that when my kids went to college, and of course, you meet people who are nowhere near where you live, and they would say, "Well, yeah, we just go to Windsor." They're like, "Canada's not that close," and I'm like, "Yeah, it is. You could throw a rock and hit it." So, yeah, I've spent many a weekend too in Windsor because it's so close. Not since the big C came around, but I've been over there many times. Uh, let's see. Uh-oh. Are we entering the to chit or not to chit discussion? I hear that's a pretty hot discussion right now. Here's my theory on to chit or not to chit. And I know some people have very strong opinions either way, and that's great. If I get my potatoes early enough and we still have like a cold April going into May piece, I'll let them chit. Uh, if they get here and it's perfect weather, I plant them. That's my theory on chit or not chit. Um, but I've heard great things about kestrels. Uh, I don't know that we can grow that, or I don't know that we have that kind of seed potato here, but I've heard lovely things. Uh, okay, so it is Steve at Digwell. Uh, okay, somebody else, I think, It's not the size of the potatoes that determines the size of your crop. It's the health and growth of the foliage. Well said. That was much better said than how I did. So thank you. Thank you. Uh, let's see. Steve says, let the potatoes decide for themselves. They know what to do. And that's, the point of a potato when it is ready to be planted is it has everything in it to reproduce. So it's like planting a seed in the ground. So they we just get to help them out a little bit, perhaps offer them some things they might not get naturally from the soil anymore. But they pretty much do their own thing, don't they? And for which I am very happy, because I would hate to have to manage all of that as well as just managing um, what I already have to manage just to keep growing all these wonderful things. Okay, I'm giving. Oh wait, this is Catherine, and she's giving potatoes one last chance this year. In bags, nice compost, potato fertilizer, water. I get fewer out of them that one in. Oh, so I get it. Uh, and sometimes I have incredible uh, produce coming out of a potato bag that I think I only planted like 2 seed potatoes in here. And I get this fabulous harvest. And then I go to maybe the next one. Honestly, same compost, same fertilizer, same watering. They're right next to each other in dead sunlight. And that will not get nearly the kind of harvest. So I think that's just a little bit of gardening is sometimes you can't stop them. And other times, uh, yeah, they're just not, it's just not good. So I wish we could all figure out what the different, uh, what every piece that we did, like what did we do to this bag that we didn't think we did, or, but yeah. And I didn't grow many potatoes. Um, we're not huge potato fan. I mean, we like them. No, I here's what I will say. We really like them, but we don't eat them a lot. And then I started growing my own, and it's like everything else. They're just too darn good when you can pick them right out of your soil in your garden. But I've never grown them in ground. Because many of you know, I have MS, so I have some limitations. And I just thought, let's put them in pots because those can be dumped out and a little bit easier to harvest. So I've only ever grown mine in pots. Um, yeah, so, okay, so next week I'm going to be doing winter sowing. I'm going to lean into that. Uh, and I think I'm only going to grow flowers in my winter sowing containers. I think. Don't quote me on that. A tip for what you can grow winter sown is, of course, any perennial loves it because they like the cold, because they're designed to live through cold winters. Anything that says it self seeds, super happy to live through that cold winter. And I started my artichokes in the house this year. I did do some last year, and unfortunately, I did not get them out early enough, and they kind of fried on me. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that again. But I really wanted artichokes this year, so I thought I'm just going to start them inside. So I have a full. I mean, it was on the bumper card for this, or on the thumbnail for this. So I have almost. I think I have 14 artichokes, and I'm more interested in growing those to their full flower potential rather than harvesting artichokes. Because I'm going to be honest, artichokes, they're a little time consuming to prep. And I prefer just to buy artichoke hearts. And, I can get beautiful organic artichoke hearts that are cleaned and ready to roll, but I can't get artichoke flowers. And those are so beautiful if you have never grown those. It almost looks like this enormous pink thistle that comes right out of what we call the artichoke. So it's the choke that's coming up and blossoming, and it is spectacular. So I'm going to border some certain ones of my beds with those, so I just get a beautiful, uh, a beautiful showing of spectacular flowers. And the bees love them. The bees are so drawn to those, and I'm drawn to those. But the pollinators love them. Okay, Claire's saying I winter sowed Mel's tree spinach, but nothing showing. I saved some in case not. My straw flowers germinated, then disappeared. I have lupins I found drowning. They must have got a bit of rain running. Oh, you have some challenges sometimes, Claire. And I love how you just bounce right through it. Like, okay, so next, what's next? Yeah, no, you have a good spirit to get through all those challenges. Audrey, I've seen winter sowing on some U.S. channels using recycled milk cartons, which are just left outside. Is that what you do too? Absolutely. And it's incredibly, I can't even tell you, but it's like any other kind of seed. Um, you chance, like, is it going to germinate right? Is it going to, so I'm going to do another video on this next week. I think that was my first video I did for YouTube, was last year's winter sowing. And I was really late. I was super late. Uh, but I thought I really want to talk about this because it's super fun. I do it in water jugs, which are essentially milk jugs, and I also use trays that chefs use. Like the quarter sheet pan or half sheet pan. That's a tin foil on the bottom and a white or clear domed lid on top. I found those did good for some things, but the milk cartons seem to produce a little bit better of a greenhouse effect. And that's really what you're trying to do. And so I think I'll try some again on the sheet pans. Um, Gosh, I can't see my, but we have a lot of water jugs right now for various reasons, because I've been trying and trying to start a gluten-free sourdough starter, and I decided to take a break for a minute because it was ridiculous and it wasn't working. But I've done a little bit more research, so I think I might try it again. I'm going to try it again. I'm going to beat this. But I ended up buying a whole lot of distilled water because that's what they prefer to do. Okay, I'm trying to. Oh, there it is. Like, where's my button? This is Roxanne talking about winter sowing. My success rate with winter sowing was about 20%. So I decided not to do it anymore. Well, and I'm with you. And I think that's how I lost a few of mine last year, is that I was hedging that it was going to stay cold, and it didn't. So what I've learned the hard way is I need to open them up during the day. Let them at least, feel a little bit of breeze. And then if it's going to be cold again that night, just close up the cartons again. So I'm going to try to be more, what's the word, more on it this year, because if you leave them just in there, they tend to just, they fry so quickly. Because, remember, these are really delicate, well, somewhat delicate. I mean, they're hardened off, but they're still small plants. And if they get a dose of heat, that's all they need to fry up. So I see my name here, so if you want tree spinach, I will send seeds to Claire. I know she is sending you a little package. I would, I really don't even know what tree spinach is, because I don't think we get those seeds here. Yes, I'd love that. I would love that. Oh, does anybody notice the cute little green trays here? I think they're called quarter trays over in the UK. Marjorie Callanan sent me 10 of those. It was like Christmas. I thought, wow, because we don't have seed trays like that. So those are going to be getting a workout, let me tell you. Um, yes. Um, yeah, wasn't that kind? That was so kind. I'm always, yeah, I'm just amazed how kind people are. Um, let's see, what else do we have here today? Uh, something about a success rate. That makes me happy. My success rate with winter sowing. Oh, wait, I just showed that one. Sorry, we're not trying to rub your nose in it. I apologize. But I get it. Sometimes you need to take a break from something. Kind of like how I'm taking a break from trying to start this sourdough starter again. I just need to clear my head a little bit. Um, yeah, somehow I've gone back because I'm hitting Amelia too. Uh, well, that's nice. Let me see. I've been sewing today. Love sewing. Let's see what this is. Leighton, and he's been. I'm going to assume it's a he. I apologize if it's not. Um, I've been sewing today: celeriac, sprouts, leeks, onion, beetroot, cabbage, and marigolds, all indoors. I'm in Shropshire. Gosh, I don't even know. My UK geography isn't the worst, but it's not the best. Uh, yeah, I have celeriac going and leeks, onions. See, beetroot, unless I'm growing it for leaves for inside, are a little early for me. But I know that you guys can, over across the pond, you can start things. You can get them in the ground so much earlier than I can where I'm located. And I'm a little jealous of that, but I've tried to, come to grips that that's just the way it is. Uh, but then I think, if my parents had not emigrated here, I'd probably be growing in Scotland right now because that's where they are from. Wait, what is? Wait, almost have to giggle. Um, okay, John, that's I have not been called that in wow, maybe ever. John said I'm one really cool kid. Love it, love it. Thank you, John. That made my day. Uh, yeah. Okay. So, yeah, I can't wait to try growing tree spinach. Absolutely. I love spinach, and I have a hard time growing spinach. So I think I'm going to winter sow some and see if maybe that doesn't do better. Because I always hedge. I don't trust my springs, so I always hedge that it's going to be too cold. And I think that's exactly what they like and what they want. So this year, I'm going to try very hard to look at the calendar and like take a risk and do it because I would love to be able to grow spinach because it's fabulous, particularly when you can pick it up and have it that night for dinner. Um, this is Stephen. Uh, it is so cold when the snow melts, and I find milk jugs. The plants will germinate as soon as they get light and grow so well. I set them right where I'm going to plant them, so they are already home. Oh, now that's a beautiful idea. I line mine up in between two of my long beds so my neighbors don't have to look at them. I'm trying to be, and I'm just on a suburban lot. So I don't have a lot of space. So I just kind of try to hide them. But I like the idea that you've already put them where they want to go. Uh, yeah, that's a great idea, Stephen. Thank you. Oh, that just is such a happy thought. Because you are putting them in their forever home, right? Once they come out of that place, that jug. And I'm actually reusing some jugs from last year. So here's one from Claire. There is a village in my town called, yep, Skelmanthorpe. Okay, that wasn't as bad as it initially looked. And the locals call it Shat. Come on. Okay. Wow. Well, that would be a fun place to live, if for no other reason, just to say your town name a lot. Yeah, that's hilarious. Uh, uh, that's hilarious. Uh, Sharon is asking, what are people's thoughts on seed skewing, well, seed sowing, I bet that is, in core discs? Well, core is kind of the new thing, isn't it? Uh, I mean, it's pretty sterile. I've, I mean, I get blocks of it. I get a big box store that essentially, it opens up and it becomes like 8 quarts of seed starting mix. Um, but I wonder if these core discs are the little ones that you plant one plant in, like the Jiffy, and it could be a different name in the UK, but if they're Jiffy pots over here and they expand, and they're like one little pot. Um, that's kind of what I use. I mean, I use the big core um, discs that make 8 quarts, but I love them because there's no nutrition, there's no nothing in them, but they get seeds off pretty quick. At least that's been my experience for sure. Um, this is Catherine. Sorry, I've been using core for microgreen growing. It dries out right fast, meaning it dries out faster than you'd like it to. Um, yeah, I use hemp mats for mine, which kind of hold on to moisture nicely, uh, and there's no dirt, which I like when because I have mine in my kitchen, because I kind of use them there, and I just like that I'm not bringing dirt in more than I already am to fill up, seed starting things. So there's plenty of dirt in my or dirt. It's a dirt accident rich environment. Let's put it that way, which is not usually what you want to say about your kitchen, but gardeners got to do what gardeners got to do. Um, Some spinach I planted last fall just germinated in, oh, well, yeah, because depending on where you are, and that's kind of nice though. That'd be like a really nice early spring surprise because it might survive, which would, that'd be awesome. Yeah, I think I do need to ask the hubby to make me a cold frame. We'll see. He's usually very accommodating. But I wanted to do a bug bin. I don't know if you've ever watched Steve at Green Side Up. He made a bug bin, and it looks like, Big Ben in Parliament. And because of my Scottish roots, I was like, I want a bug bin. Like, that would be so cool. We have dinosaurs in our backyard, so why not a bug bin? But I think our Triceratops looking like it's ready for the tar pit. His poor little head is like kind of twisted off, and he's not looking like he's gonna make it through this winter. So I'm thrilled they made it as long as they have. Um, yeah. Okay. Let's see. Oh, you guys are so kind. Uh, I don't know. I was very happy to be able to source uh, Bedfordshire Champion onion seeds because I've heard so many good things about them, and I was able to get them from Chiltern Seeds. I couldn't order them from their main shop, but I was able to find, and I think it was one of you who actually put me onto this. They have an Etsy shop that could send here. So I was thrilled because they are apparently incredibly good and they store well. So I'm like, check, check. And I've heard so many good comments about them. Uh, just shocked. So I was so happy to be able to get those. Oh, that sounds great. This is Fiona. She's growing Rambo radish in core and some compost. Uh, different seed company, which may be the difference, but core is kicking compost spot. Yeah, because I think for microgreens, well, I don't know if you're growing these for microgreens. I was assuming that. Um, but yeah, I think a seed starting mix, which usually core is, um, does way better because it's so light and the seeds have everything they need. So they really don't need such a rich environment as a compost. Um, let's see what Jean is saying about Jiffy Pots. But the worst thing with these was always that blooming net that surrounds them. Yeah, yep, yeah. I used to use those years ago, and that's kind of what put me off because then I would pull, in the fall when you're kind of cleaning the place out, it's like this little ball came back up, and I thought, what? I thought this was all biodegradable, and I don't know that it is, unless it takes more than a couple seasons uh, to biodegrade it, which I don't think I would want. Really, don't you just want it to kind of do its thing quickly? Um, okay, I've mixed core with compost. Here we've got a. Oh, here we go. I mixed core with compost last year, and my seeds and potatoes did well, but did have to water. Yeah, core is very. I mean, water just will pour through that. It's almost like vermiculite or something. It's a great lightener if you want to add some air and some space to your soil. It's a great additive. I don't think I would use it much uh, past my seed starting, but to amend a soil that's heavy, I think it'd be wonderful. Let's you guys getting it done today. I love that you're all sewing, but not. Oh, thank you. uh, your hubby can have a chat with mine. Yeah, because I have a couple beds here by my deck that are both 3 by 8. And I thought, wouldn't that be nice if we could have just one of them maybe be a cold frame, and then the cold frame can go away because we get so hot in the summer. I would just, I mean, there'd be no reason to have it, but I could leave it out there all winter. So it wouldn't even be like a big storage issue. It could be stored right on the bed for winter. Uh, I need to Google it. There's a travel agent on their high street called Shat Travel. Come on. Well, I guess if you're going to do it, you better lean into it, right? You can either pretend we're not saying that or lean hard. So, well, good for them for leaning hard uh, into an unfortunate nickname for a city. Uh, what's this one? When word when a word ends shire, it mostly likely a county, and is pronounced sure. Sure? Oh, as in Shropshire, Shropshire. Oh, okay. I'll take that. Um, yeah, this is my first generation American UK person talking, and I appreciate that because it's like people who go to Oregon, but anybody who lives there knows it's Oregon, and so you can tell locals from not locals. So I appreciate that because rather be confused as a local. uh, do I have a PO? No, no. You say it core, co-e-er. I've heard some people pronounce that that way. We say core, which I know usually is pronounced or spelled core, but we don't say quar. It's just cocoa core. So yeah. Uh, I saw a question, um, but I appreciate any help to um, embrace the UK pronunciation better because I never like to. I want to say it as accurately as I can, as obviously having grown up on this side of the pond. So, although I listened, I mean, I grew up hearing Scottish, or not hearing, I shouldn't say Scottish accent my whole life. So, so I knew a little bit. Do I have a PO box? Actually, I do. It is on my YouTube channel in the About section. It's there. So, yes, thank you. And it's called a suite because it's a very small UPS place. So they let you call it kind of whatever you want. But they suggest to use the word suite. And I'm like, well, that sounds a little bit snooty, but I'll go there. Um, is it really French? Uh, wow, I didn't think. Oh, I kind of missed it again. You guys are chatting so much. I love it. But I kind of lose. uh, where y'all are, and I try to come in. I sometimes come in mid conversation, so I don't mean to do that, but um, yeah, I will read it all back, and I do. I always go through the chat again because I know I miss. So, what I wish I could do as I'm going back through it is respond to it. Because I probably have some good little snarky remarks to add. Or I would say maybe humorous remarks to add, not snarky, because snarky's not so nice all the time. Uh, but I might add a little humor into it. But yeah, it's hard when um, I can't really respond. But I can laugh my head off, and I enjoy that. So thank you. Uh, oh my goodness, we're over an hour already. This flies. Oh wait. Okay, this looks like a challenge. Please say Worcestershire. Is that correct? That's how I pronounce it. Okay, Claire, judge me. Tell me, how'd I do? I think I did a pretty good pronunciation of that word because I always hear everybody going Worcestershire. So anyway, I gave it my best shot. Oh, 2 hour lives. Could you imagine? I don't know that I'm that entertaining. I'm trying, but yeah. So Claire, I'm dying to hear how was my pronunciation. So obviously you know how to say it, and I need you to tell me how do I do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wait, where is she? I'm only joking. Oh, okay. Okay. You're only joking. Jean, Audrey, try pronounce it. Uh, uh, Lowborough. How's that? Okay. Wasn't that what I said? In my head, that's how it sounded. I don't know. I guess I'll have to go back and read it again and go, oh, okay, not even close. Okay. Although I did watch, okay, this made me laugh so hard because my parents were both born and raised in Glasgow. And uh, Eli from Kate and In the Garden with Kate and Eli, on her channel, it's one of her earlier videos, her and her sister talk in Glaswegian. And that's what I grew up hearing. And I have never laughed as hard at a YouTube video in my life. It was beautiful. It brought me right back to my childhood. And I'd forgotten so many of the sayings that my parents just used to say. So I had okay, so I think I blew the Lowborough. Yeah. Uh, so my apologies. Next week, you're going to have to try to stump me one more time. And then I could teach all of my UK pals to pronounce things with an American accent. That would be interesting as well. I'm still taken aback by the place called Shot. So or Shat. I guess Shat would be more appropriate. Um, anyway, well, this was uh, very fun, very enjoyable. Love that you all choose to show up on a what is this Thursday? Yes, Thursday's our day. Maybe next week I'll have a jug or two to show you. Um, then we'll go through and pronounce things in American. You have a friend who can't say Detroit? Just call it, Motown, whatever. We'll, you know, yeah. So anyway, thank you all. So much fun. Can't wait till next week. Um, and yeah, we'll do something. I don't know. I think maybe I have another camera set up, so maybe we can do some stuff live. We will see. I'm not promising yet, but I think it might work. So that would be kind of fun. We could do a little. We could maybe plant something live. So yes, have a wonderful week. Again, keep that break on if you need to, um, because you don't want a house full of plants like I had last year. So anyway, thank you so much. Take care, and we'll see you next week, same time. Bye.